defenders, I think, is like.
People deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning back in each and every time. First things first, good morning to those of you like myself in the United Kingdom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night to those of you wherever you are around this world. With it being Wednesday, first things first, I hope everyone's in good health, you know, mentally, physically, spiritually, and I'm wishing financially for everyone that our finances get better and better. The one thing more important than money and the obvious is our health. If you don't have health, you're dead. So as usual, wishing you lot continued health in all aspects of the word, you know, and your loved ones and them things. And as I said, I hope everyone's having a good progressive start to the week in terms of, you know, moving towards their goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, and aspirations. Apologies, or better yet, for being 5 minutes late, people. I'm not gonna lie, my nieces came to see me, Uncle DG. Family duties. I regret nothing, you know. I regret nothing playing with my nieces. I really regret nothing. I love you lot, but I regret nothing, innit? It's a shame I couldn't play with them for longer, innit? Really, you know. I'm trying to be everybody's favorite uncle, you know the thing. But on that note, though, people, as I said, please make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're taking part in the pinned message where obviously there's a vote. Should we give up on Vlahovic? Because this daily Dusan, as I think I've seen one of you say again, I like to just be here and talk with you lot. Ultimately, I'm tired of it, really, this Vlahovic thing. I'm tired of the striker thing. It's not that we don't need a striker. It's I would love to have seen these sort of rumours, you know, regarding a midfielder. I know to the backwaters, there's Arthur Melo, there was Bruno Guimaraes, there was Ronaldo. Give it a few hours, there'll be a next name. I want to see this level of aggression for midfield. I know Thomas Partey, big up my Ghanaians listening. They were out of the AFCON. Technically, Partey hasn't missed a Premier League game. You know, I don't know what Egypt's saying, but maybe Arteta will say, do you know what? We've got enough, quote unquote, cover in midfield until the end of the season. Where personally, I hear that. But for me, I think I've said it in the summer. For this team to go to the next level, you need a midfield. There's no way that Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, all these guys, the new recruits, Tomiyasu, Ben White, everyone who's good in this team, Tierney, they're going to go to higher heights and help us reach maturity and push on with the midfield. You know, I love Partey. I still think Partey just needs a partner. But reality is, I don't know what Thomas Partey I'm getting. We've been around the houses with Xhaka. We know he's got a clanger in him, he's got a mistake, he's got good points. Either way, it's probably not to the standard, and then he'll be gone. So I think the midfield is one thing that's required. Now, if we're going to sit there and say, you know what, we'll hold it up until the summer, I understand it, there is logic, but for me, we're going to live or die by this midfield. We're playing a dangerous game. I think we need a midfielder in January. I think you need to get a decent midfielder in January. Then if you could get a top one, fair play. I've said I think you need two midfielders. Realistically, you know, this time next season, I want to sit there with two new midfielders. Well, my maths is poor. Two new midfielders, Lokonga, Thomas Partey, and then whatever else is there in it, really and truly. I don't know if we're going to move on from those things, but it is what it is. You know, this Vlahovic thing, again, every day there's more conflicting reports. I'm past the point of caring. I would love the guy to come to the carpet. Of course, he's a talented player. He's got ability. He's got a wonder of a left foot. He scores goals. We need a striker in it, but if the man don't want to sign and he wants to go to Juventus, or his agents are doing funky business, fair play to them. In it is what it is in that regards. We're gonna go over all of that stuff in a minute. You know, Isak is floating around now as well. Again, I just want a midfielder, and for me, this is where it starts and stops with this rumor thing, people. Really and truly, you know, we can talk about it, but until I see people holding shirts, it's all a myth. Again, please make sure you're subscribing and following on Twitch as well as YouTube. I've just dropped the link. And again, make sure you've set your reminders for tomorrow, because obviously it's Arsenal against Liverpool. We will be doing a watch along. And big up to everyone who was at my, you know, we did Morocco versus Gabon yesterday on Twitch. We did a watch along for that. That was quite a game, really. Gabon didn't come here to play any games. And a screamer from Hakimi grabbed the point. Crazy one. But yeah, what are you lot saying? Hit the like button. Sorry, folks, I got to make myself a bit more comfortable in this chair and whatnot. Is what it is. DG, no Twitch gang today. There was no 10 a.m. stream, but you know, I'm back on Twitch later today, man. You know, I don't leave Twitch hanging. As I said, I'm going to be playing Football Manager from around 3:30. Watch this space, because I probably will start earlier, maybe half an hour earlier. And then obviously we're watching Leicester and Spurs on Twitch. So I never leave you lot hanging. Hi, DG. This is Sten from Malawi. Big up the Malawians. Big up yourself and all the sister countries and whatnot. Love your channel, bro. I love your support, man. Without you lot, it means nothing. Vlahovic is a top-class striker. We must do everything possible to sign this guy. To be fair, bro, I think we have. If you've bidded, the bid's accepted. Bro, my man, I do think he wants to sign for Arsenal, but he wants to go to Juventus and all these things. I can't begrudge him for that. I think we've done all we can. Step away from that now. Do the Isak thing. I know Isak, you have to activate his release clause. It is what it is. We know January is difficult to sign a striker. As I said, for me, I'm not saying we don't need a striker, but if I was Mikel Arteta, I'd be happier to persist with what I've got at my disposal in the final third. Then in midfield, I think we're playing a dangerous game in midfield, a very dangerous game. I've always said it, and I still maintain we're going to live or die by this midfield. And me personally, I'm not seen enough to be convinced by any of the combinations that we've played. Whether that was Lokonga and Ainsley, Lokonga and Partey, Xhaka and Partey. It's not that these are bad players. I'm not saying that. But we're asking a lot. Lokonga, as you've seen, is still adjusting to the league and evidently is having teething problems. We're asking a lot, Again, we've gone through a lot already. We've seen injuries, suspensions, COVID. We've been through a lot for a team that's meant to be playing once a week. We've still gone through a lot. So I think we need a midfielder, man. And obviously, I forgot to say, Granit Xhaka to Roma's resurfaced. Whether it happens or not, it's another thing. Again, it's quite boring. Daily Deuce, and you know the thing. Let Xhaka go. Don't even need compensation for him. Just terminate his contract, and it's a dramatically improved side. I'm not sure that's true, but I hear that, man. You're looking at this DV, Deuce and Vlahovic transfer less optimistically each passing day, bro. It's a myth, but I just love it sitting here and speaking about football with you lot, man. It's dead. It's really dead. If you're willing to pay 50 plus for Vlahovic, would rather go and get Bruno Guimaraes from Lyon now. Trust. But how convinced are they in Vlahovic? I have to wonder. I'm not saying they're not on Bruno Guimaraes because Edu tried, but if you're willing, and I'm not saying a striker isn't needed and it can help us push to the top four and all of that jazz. But for me, that tells me, as impossible it looks to get Vlahovic, that tells me you lot are convinced. Playing a bit of devil's advocate, I'm not saying we're not convinced on Bruno Guimaraes and the variables are different and they're not the same. But if you're ready to go for Vlahovic, overpay because it's January and all of that, deal with the agent business. Bruno Guimaraes is there. Are you fully convinced that he's worth the outlay then? Is the club convinced that he's worth 40 mil? Or is there something in the backwaters, whether his agent has shut down a move away from Lyon or whatever? Now, their president, Ulas, is a tough businessman, but he's a businessman. He will sell. I don't know. I'm sure some of you are saying what's going on with Renato Sanchez. Probably in the last week or so, if nothing happens, that rumor there will resurface. But you have to wonder that Arsenal are not convinced him, my man. Not whether that's a good thing or not. Really and truly. I don't care how much he costs. We need him at our club, trust. Nothing new, just DG 6 minutes early. Come on. I'll pay my fine, man. You lot allow me, man. You lot have been taking money. I'll get out. It's £1 fine. I'll give you an next 50p later, man. That's going in the jar, man. I'll give you lot my fine. Boy, Christmas on me this year, innit? If it keeps going on like this. Shout the Ugandans. You lot again. It's a pleasure to have all of you lot here, man. Appreciate you lot. We got rid of a lot of deadwood. Yeah, we're freeing up the deadwood. Kalajinac is gone. We had to pay him off. 100 bags gone off the wages. Marie, not fully gone, but he's gone. We're getting rid of our guys. Let's bring some man in because Kalajinac and Marie are bit part players in the squad and you probably won't have to use them. But if I'm playing devil's advocate, we've seen injuries. We've seen it again. We need to supplement the squad, really. It's crazy, man. Morning, DG. If you had to choose centre mid in January or your boy Adeyemi, all logic goes out the window. Forget everything I said about midfield. If there's opportunity to get Kareem Adeyemi, I'm doing that. Come on. It's an opportunity of a lifetime still. Big up you lot. Keep your comments and all those things coming, people. The Juventus rumours are false news, Carl. You can't agree personal terms without a transfer offer in November or December. Thierry Henry, that's false. You can, you can 9 times out of 10, a club will speak to the advisors of an individual, see how much a contract will look like. Okay, in theory, I would like a 5-year deal, this, that, and the other, and then you negotiate with the club. So that's not entirely true, broski. Not sure why we are chucking 50 plus M's at a striker when centre mid is the priority. Just put all your money into buying Bruno Guimaraes. Just get an 8/box to box. We clearly have the money to splash. And also we need to remember in terms of how these lot want to be paid, in terms of variables and things like that. Keep your opinions coming, people. But I think, let's get into the articles and whatnot, people. Let's get all of this over and done with, people. Good old paper talk, okay? 300 odd of you locked in. Can you all hit the like button? Unexpected high bills due for those who haven't, We're we're going to get Nicholas Bentner back if you don't hit the like button. I know some of you Arsenal fans are weirdos. You would like that, you know. I'm going to click on the article. I've already clicked on it. But Fiorentina have accepted Arsenal's offer of 80 million euros plus bonuses and commission, which would take it to 106 million euros in total for Dusan Vlahovic. But the player has already an agreement to join Juventus on a free transfer in 2023 once his contract expires. So what is he saying? He wants to help Fiorentina get Europe this year, stay for a next year playing in Europe, and then leave. You know, and it's very conflicting reports. 1 minute he wants to leave, he'll leave. He don't want to leave. His agents want him. Everyone's in agreement. Fiorentina acting. Once again, we're just having our pants pulled down in the Italian media. Fiorentina has accepted Arsenal's offer for Vlahovic, but there is Juventus. A no-holds-bar war is likely to break out between Dusan Vlahovic and Fiorentina, and to end up in the middle would be the coach Vincenzo Italiano. Fiorentina, the delicate situation, Vlahovic. Again, Google Translate. As collected exclusively, Fiorentina would have accepted the offer of 80 million plus bonuses and commissions in brackets for a total of approximately 106 million, formulated by Arsenal for the Serbian striker. The player, however, would already have an agreement with Juventus, with the penalty to be paid in case of cancellation, to move to the Turin on a free transfer once the contract with Fiorentina has expired, therefore in the summer of 2023. Scrolling all the way down, the company of President Rocco Commisso in all of this pushes so that the centre forward is immediately, I guess, sold. And apparently they're looking at Piontek, but the Italian would not agree. The club's plan would be to test Piontek, and in the event of constant convincing performances, to sleep Vlahovic in the stands for the entire 2020-23 season until a farewell to zero. Extremely delicate situation. Now, I think he's gone in the summer, but yeah, man, lots of twists and turns. Vlahovic is totally confrontational. Sale is evaluated. Again, this Google Translate. The future of Dusan Vlahovic, and writes, the feeling is that the strategy of his attorney Ristic is to go as far as possible towards the expiry of his contract, which would mean continuing the total confrontation. And again, that would be good if he runs down this deal, because we don't know for sure that, for example, Haaland's going to sign for Real Madrid, and bare people want Haaland. Not everyone can get him. So you might end up at City. You know, you might end up at Real Madrid if they don't get Haaland. You might end up at PSG. You might end up at Juventus, you know. So I think he's on joining Arsenal. I think there is a part of him that's on it, but I think you have to accept you at the back of the list. Like, there's bare things he could do. And I understand Fiorentina's point of view. This is probably the last window to get big money. They will probably get big money in the summer, but you can't, you're negotiating hands poor in it, because he's contracted until 2023. It's a very dangerous game to let these sort of players run down deals. And considering he's 21, I don't know how much they spent buying him from Partizan, but I can imagine there's a decent sell-on clause for Partizan, but they're also going to make a decent profit. Hit the like button, people. So yeah, man, you know, which would mean continuing and a total confrontation with Rocco Commisso and his management. It is normal that Fiorentina have feared this hypothesis, want to monetize as much as possible, and it is equally normal that even in January, in the event that official offers of almost 70 million euros arrive, the purple market men can carefully consider what to do. I mean, Arsenal should just move on, bro. Like, Fiorentina clearly want to sell. You put up the racks. My man moving iffy. Again, we don't know, because we see a lot of conflicting reports. Just move on. Try the Isak thing. If Isak don't work, try the next guy. Psh, for me, I want to just see this sort of aggression with a centre mid. I want to see this intensity and rumours and stuff in a midfield. You know, I've seen Vlahovic's face more time than I've seen certain of my guys, really and truly. Like, I'm seeing Vlahovic, chatting about Vlahovic way too much, people. So it is what it is in that regards. That's the latest in relation to that. Granit Xhaka, player doesn't seem happy to have stayed at Arsenal, could run into the arms of manager at first opportunity. Now, I'm sure Xhaka's done some Insta live thing, and he conflicted these reports, but we all know that, you know, the midfielder wanted to go to Italy, and apparently the Serie A side never met the Gunners' demands, leaving him no choice but to stay put, and he signed a new deal to protect resale value. He's had injuries, he's had COVID, and he's had inconsistent performances. You know, this is Granit Xhaka. According to this report yesterday, who claimed the player doesn't seem happy to have stayed at Arsenal and can run into the arms of the special one in the summer. So what, they're going to buy Ainsley as well? The belief is that Jose still wants him in Rome as he continues to court him from afar. It would have to be a deal in the summer, because there are a few margins to negotiate in Jan, but this all suggests we're in for another saga once the season ends. I mean, if you want to leave and Telemans can come in, I'm on all of that. So you do your thing. Mr. Isak, about to, you know, kick Arsenal fans while they're down. Arsenal transfer target Alexander Isak has clear preference over next club as Barcelona join the race. Barcelona are ready to rival Arsenal in the race to sign Real Sociedad star Alexander Isak, with the striker reportedly favouring a move to the Camp Nou over the Nou Camp. Arsenal have been eyeing up Dusan Vlahovic, blah, blah, blah. Another option Arsenal have been considering is Swedish international Isak, who has a release clause of 70 million euros, 59.8. So why not activate that? Again, you have to assume the player wants to join us and all these things, but it makes sense to go there, down that route. Apparently, the Gunners would hope to land the 22-year-old for significantly less, although it's still a smaller fee than what Fiorentina are demanding for Vlahovic, while the Serb and his agent also want massive signing-on fees. But Arsenal could face significant competition for Isak in the summer, with Spanish newspaper Sport reporting that Barcelona are also stepping up the interest in the forward people. Xavi has made a number 9 his top priority, and yeah, everyone and their nan is trying to get Haaland. Again, it's looking like he's going Real Madrid, and there's got to be alternatives, which could end up being Vlahovic, could end up being Isak. So we're going to see a lot of rumours, not just for our club and Remixed. And based on yesterday and just in general, I'm surprised Chelsea are not involved for a striker card. Surely the Lukaku thing's not going to bang. Isak has been, he has been underwhelming this season. To be fair, Sociedad haven't been firing. He's only scored 4 times in 17 appearances, people. Europa League, he's got 3 goals in 4 starts, so he's left his best form for that. Again, I clicked on this article. Again, I can't speak Spanish, and them things there, but let's scroll the way down. It kind of speaks about the same thing, how they want Haaland and all of these things, but apparently Isak reappears. A few months ago, it was the priority bet and process was made in his hiring, despite the fact that Barcelona could not make millionaire movements this summer. They talked to him, and Barca was very clear about his predisposition to reach the Nou Camp, well above the Premier League, so he wants Barca of everything. Everything was parked for its renewal with a termination clause of 90 million. Although its name appears again in the offices of the club, endorsed by the sports area, his youth, his quality, his explosion in Spanish football, and his good ability to adapt to possession football like that of Real play in his favour. It's not an easy operation either, because the San Sebastian club will value it high and we'll have offers for sure, but the option's there. So again, apologies, Google Translate making it sound like waffle, but yeah, man, it's a bit of a myth. So again, you need plan B, plan C, plan D targets, But Arteta is telling us that he wants Eddie to stay in that. So I hear everything that's going on. Arsenal ready to formalise big offer within 48 hours. Gunners specifically chasing January deal. And, Fabrizio Romano, I'll try and find his tweets, but he's been gassing up the thing as well a bit. We all know where we're at with him, people. This rumour is saying 48 hours, the North London club are ready to formalise the proposal to sign the striker. And the news could come in form of an email. It's again stressed that the offer from Mikel Arteta's side for the 21-year-old should be around 70 million. The Premier League club are also willing to offer him a 5-year deal worth 19 million euros per season, along with maxi commission to his agent. Arsenal have decided to dive into the operation in the winter market. If you don't bring him in, it doesn't matter. I don't want to hear nothing about no articles when the window's done. If there's no midfielder, I don't want to hear nothing from no one. But on top of that, I don't want to see nothing about we tried, we was aggressive. I don't want to see no articles in the Athletic and these papers how Edu flew over to Italy, he had negotiations, he tried it all. I don't care about that, because as much as I admire my club and what we're doing on the transfer basis, I feel when you look at the game against City, without the obvious, and this, you don't get points for trying. Like, you don't win games for trying. You win games for winning. You don't get applauded for trying to sign someone. You get it done. Fair enough. Vlahovic is a great player. He's a bad boy. He can go and do other things if he doesn't sign here. But this is where you need other targets, Carl. We ain't got the drip that Barca and, Barca's still playing on all of that. We have to be able to be humble. If a man says no, be no. You could sell him the project. Listen, these clubs will be off. You're 21. Look how other people are struggling. Come here for a couple of years. These men will be onto you. We have to sell him them sort of dreams. But, I'm sorry, but it is, it's hardly like the man's name. Stop whoring. We need to stop whoring ourselves out for this done. And again, we don't know what's happening between Fiorentina, Vlahovic and Arsenal. The newspapers are going to gas up things, and they know Arsenal fans leech onto everything. But this is more or less just saying the same thing, that we're willing to pay the fees. We're willing to do what needs to be done. But, if without knowing it, just as an ignorant fan, if man really wanted this to happen, it would be getting cracking, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, it's not. So it is what it is where that's concerned. And apparently, just to go back to Xhaka is reportedly unsettled at Arsenal as Jose Mourinho plots a summer move for the midfielder at Roma. Yeah, man, it's kind of just saying this, saying the same things, people. You know, what you see is what you get with Granit Xhaka, to be fair with you. So I think we've all been down that road, and I think, you know, as long as he's in our midfield as a main player, I don't think he's a bad player. We're gonna still talk about the same things, people. Fabrizio Romano said Arsenal are trying to sign Vlahovic since October, but Dusan is still planning to leave in the summer, not now. Nothing has changed. Really complicated negotiation on the player/agent side. Many clubs will be in the race in June. Exactly. I mean, everyone's going to be in it. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. You know, either, you know, if the man don't want to sign, fair play, do what you're doing, man. Just like I said, I would love a striker. We need to focus on the striker, but for me personally, I'll be a lot more happier if I hear him. If I wake up tomorrow or at any point and hear a midfielder has arrived, we're gonna live or die by midfield. And even when everyone's fit, there's extreme inconsistencies within our team in the central area of the park. So, boy, it is what it is where that's concerned, people. But it's getting a bit boring talking about the same thing. Should we see what's going on in the Arsenal transfer mill on Sky Sports? I'm not even going to show you. Look, we're just linked with Arthur Melo again. Isak and Vlahovic, we've spoken about. You know, Ronaldo is there, Telemans is there, Danilo is there. Where's all these guys, man? Where are all these guys? Bring them to the club, man. You know, I was hearing Kulusevski, Guimaraes, Douglas Luiz. All of these guys is how we started off the January transfer market. Where are the Dons? Like, again, please, I just want a midfielder. Like, that's all I want to hear, man. Fair play. I wouldn't begrudge him going to Juventus. You know, can we even look at that Xhaka brother? Like, there's other strikers out there, and obviously every striker's a risk, but come on, man. Anyways, let me see what you lot are saying. Big up you lot. Make sure you're hitting the like button. You're following on Twitch again. We're going to be watching Leicester and Spurs. I know I said that dreaded word. And well, just before that, we're going to play Football Manager. No, Isak, his numbers look like Bentner. I swear I don't want it. But listen, if we sign Isak, I've said it, I think he's going to find it very hard first 6 or so months. I don't think he's as good as Arsenal fans are gassing. Football fans in general at this moment in time as well. I've never seen someone scruff a shot like an old school Raheem Sterling. It's going off target and a Spanish man puts it in the back of his net and man are gassing up the thing. But I do think Isak is sick. But I can't disagree. His numbers are meaty right now, man. Go hard at Dusan Vlahovic this window. He won't be available next window. Next window, once we're back in Europe, go hard for midfielders. I mean, he's not the only man in the world, blood. I hear you, though. This transfer window is looking bleak. Boy, I don't know, man. Lacazette can do a job to the end of the season. I hear it, but sometimes, you know, as much as I like Lacazette's strengths, we're going to need goals. Sometimes it's not a game to be talking about link up with young players. Someone's got to score goals. You know, you look at City, 9 times out of 10, they're ducky, man, without a striker. The one time they probably needed a number 9 in the Champions League final, boy. And there'll be times at some point this season they need a number 9. We don't need a striker this early. We can come top 4 with the same team. Something tells me Dusan will be a semi-ish player and ruin the play that we've got. I don't know about that, but fair play. This obsession in a striker is odd. Everyone can see the midfield is in need of help. I mean, Greenwood would be good. I don't see any problem with overpaying for Vlahovic. We should even meet with his agent's fees. Basuma could be a shout. I wouldn't mind Basuma, but again, can we get midfielders that are a bit more aligned to Santi Cazorla? You know, I think we've got some 6s here. Obviously, Elnene's leaving, or Lokonga's going to grow in that into his role, and Partey's there. I do think you could get a number 6, but can we get some players that, you know, a bit more quality in the final third? At this point, Sanchez will do from Lyon. I can't lie. I don't mind Sanchez, Renato Sanchez, because we ain't got much, but I'm not convinced. I can't lie. He's good, but just buying, man, for the sake of it, man. DG Partey coming back for Liverpool. Is he going to be back for Liverpool? Or is he going to be back for Burnley? Sign Declan bloody Rice. I would, but that's 100 million, mate. At minimum to even start a conversation, really. Spence rumours heating up, but midfield is so crucial. It's become stale. And as you say, Arteta and Edu were midfielders. This is why I don't understand it. Man said, shout Sancho, Kolasinac and Marie gone. I used to pray for times like this. Would you take Arthur on an 18-month loan? Yeah. I'd push for a buy option, man. Love your shows because it's 6:30 a.m. in Canada. Always on my desk working on not and everyone else, man. I feel now Uncle Partey is coming back. We won't get a centre mid. Trust, which is scary, man. It's upsetting, man. DG, I passed the light, but I received the bill. Hey, man, I didn't say you wouldn't get bills. I just said unexpected high bills, my guy. It could be worse, man. Come on. Martinelli, Vlahovic, Xhaka sounded like my football manager team. Do you fancy Pogba at Arsenal? Yeah. I fancy going on a date with Kelly Rowland as well. Like, it's calm, man. So they got their replacement, man. Too much money. He'll hold our club to ransom and bully Arteta if he turns out rubbish. I mean, I don't have any concerns about him, but boy, if he ain't gonna get adaptation to the club and to fans in general away from agendas, he'll get an adaptation period. But for all the hype and stuff with Vlahovic, wherever he goes, there's gonna be people looking at Donny with fine eyes now and a fine comb. You know, really and truly, Vlal isn't worth it. I'm not sure that's true. Vlahovic is way too risky. Why not go for David or Isak who actually want to play? We don't know if we're just going on media talk, really, to be fair to Vlahovic. But I think Vlahovic would score more goals and hit the ground running more so than Jonathan David or Isak. I can't lie, I'm not really convinced on Isak or Jonathan David. I'm more sold on Jonathan David. I would kind of, it's a bit like when we was linked with Lacazette. We was linked with him for about 3 years. The last year I was kind of sold the most on him, and lo and behold, look where we've ended up personally. I think Jonathan David I think his performances have gone up. I think he's doing all right. But in my heart, I don't know if he's the one in it. The same goes for Isak. They're good players. But every signing is going to be a risk still. And a massive one at that. This channel needs more credit. I appreciate that, Thomas, man. Cutting onions and that, man. Appreciate that. One day, my guy, man, with people like you supporting the thing, offering your comments, big up everybody tuned in. You know, we're going to get there sooner rather than later. Make sure you're hitting the like buttons. We're closing in on 200 likes. I can't lie. If Vlahovic wants to stay a bit longer to help Fiorentina get European football, I rate that. Fiorentina building a decent team. A lot of other players would just leave first chance they got. I hear it. But I would say, is it because of Fiorentina or is it because he's got this agreement with Juventus or he just wants to focus on a transfer in June where he can look at his options? You know, the longer he stays in form, the more his contract runs down. And if I was him, I'll be looking at it like, boy, it's a me and Haaland thing this summer. Yeah, there's Mbappe on the free, but it's me, Mbappe, Haaland. You know, Haaland and Mbappe are the guys. Everybody's going to be fighting for them, all the top teams. But man's going to be here as well, you know. Like, I would be doing the same thing. So he could go to Juventus, you know. He's clearly adapted to life in Italy. He knows that it's gone. You're going to, well, boy, you know, Juventus are stinking up the place this season. They didn't win the title last year. But typically, you might win trophies at Juventus. And they seem, I don't know what's going on with Dybala, but there's that. Allegri could probably help him improve. You know, we can't rule out other Italian teams. Real Madrid were linked with him. Barcelona were linked with him. 2 teams. If they come for you can't say no. You know, every team in England, you know, I don't want to praise them, but the Conte factor could help Spurs. You know, the Conte factor might help Spurs. You know, United might even come in just for argument's sake. Until City buy a striker, there's that. You know, Liverpool, you'd probably say one way they could go to the next level is probably an out-and-out striker, really and truly. I'm forcing the Liverpool links. Obviously, Arsenal have been linked. My point being, there's going to be bare people onto him and all of these things, people. So it would make sense to run down this deal, just like any footballer. You're seeing, man like Eddie Nketiah. This is what football's becoming, running down your deals, controlling your variables. So I don't know, man. I don't know. It'd be, you know, let's be real. If them other teams there came for him, he's going in it. Isak ain't going Barcelona. Stop dreaming. I heard the article said it. You know, I never said it. And Barca are known to sign in Buki, man. Vlahovic can succeed at Arsenal and not Isak. That's a bit harsh. Bit harsh. Let's get Vlahovic irrespective of the price. We need better quality than Oba and Nketiah. Bro, Eddie Nketiah was eating jollof yesterday. He should have been playing for Ghana, bro. And Callum Hudson today, bro. 1v1 demon and that. Heard he got 4 goals in 4 years. Them man there. Ever mention them scrubs with Bukayo Saka again. Vlahovic is perfect for Arsenal. But you see me, this is what annoys me. I'm not saying you, I'm not saying anyone, but this is what annoys me in general about when Arsenal are linked with players. Don't get it twisted. Vlahovic, clearly a bad boy forward, could clearly do stuff. But for me, it seems like Arsenal will be, let's take the strikers, for example, because I've seen this with Shabozla, I've seen this with Madison, I've seen it with Buendia, and just about anyone. Let's take the strikers. We'll be linked with Bearman, you know.